Hello, everyone. Tyler DeLuca here with a new episode of the Art of the Paint podcast. And today I'm joined by an incredibly special guest, a bucket list guest of mine. Before I introduced her, I got the resume here. And I need everyone to make sure they put the respect on Courtney Paris's name that it deserves to be. So let me take a deep breath. I don't even have the full resume here because we'd be here all day. But I'm talking to the GOAT of Oklahoma basketball, the first ever four-time AP and USBWA All-American in women's college basketball history, period. That's history. 112 consecutive double-doubles. First player to accumulate 2,500 career points and 2,000 rebounds. A 10-year playing career in the WNBA, leading the league in rebounding twice, and a championship in 2018. An assistant coach at OU, and that's still leaving stuff out. Courtney Paris, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that intro did you justice.
Oh, no, it did. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Well, let's get straight into it because you're entering a new chapter in your basketball history right now. You joined the staff of the Dallas Wings. You joined Coach Trammell. Kind of walk me through, how did this develop? How did we get to this point? And what are you looking forward to the most from it?
Yeah. So after coaching at OU, after Coach Cole retired, I actually followed my sister Ashley. She had been working at Nike and Beaverton, Oregon, and had been living out there for the past 3 years. And she was like, "You should apply and come out here." So I did that and was working at Nike the last few years. Got great kind of corporate experience working in footwear, product creation. So it's been a lot of fun. But yeah, I was definitely missing being around basketball. I love that experience, but so when the GM and Coach Trammell called me and asked me if I wanted to join the staff, it was like something I was like, for sure. So it was a great opportunity. My half of my family lives out in Dallas, so it made sense for me at the time. So it's been great so far.
So you mentioned there you coached at OU for a season under Coach Cole. Obviously, playing under a legendary coach is one thing, but being able to join the staff and be a part of that, what are you going to be taking from that year under Coach Cole into this new endeavor as an assistant coach in the WBA?
Oh, so much. Coach Cole is like a stickler for championship behavior, and I think at any level, any team, and in any environment, that those token things that you want to use as an athlete translates to any athlete. So definitely those things. Coach Trammell is big on those too, just like the kind of teammate you are, the way you carry yourself, the way practice goes. So definitely that foundation kind of transfers into what we're doing here with the Dallas Wings. But also, Coach Cole's got a great motion offense, and just her the way she sees basketball is amazing. So to be able to add that and kind of have those conversations with my staff in this new environment is great. Yeah, so just a lot, that experience. It was 1 year, but I learned so much and kind of learned to think like a coach. And it was just, still basketball, but just a different side of it. So learned a ton, and I'm excited to learn a ton under Coach Trammell's staff as well.
You mentioned the switch from seeing basketball as a player versus seeing it as a coach. For you, what are the biggest differences with that?
Well, the coaches, it's funny, we were just laughing about this today. We were talking about some drill, and Coach Trammell was like, I love this drill, and I was like, what is this drill she's talking about? And it was like, once I figured it out, I was like, I hate that drill. So coaches, they want to push you. No. There's just a lot of work that goes into it. I have such an appreciation for what the coaches I've had in my life after seeing this part of it. You kind of think you go to practice and everyone goes home, and it's a never ending job. You're watching film. You're always thinking about what's going to be best for the team and how to get better and what you can do. So just I have a real appreciation for all the work that goes into it, and helping players get better on and off the court.
And obviously basketball is basketball to a point, but obviously there's differences in the college game versus the pro game, different personalities and how you talk to players, how the game itself is played. What kind of are the differences that you've already noticed in coaching college versus WNBA, or what differences are you kind of expecting with that shift from college to the professional league?
Well, I'll say this today for me personally, the biggest the biggest adjustment was kind of I had a workout today with one of our players, and it's a teammate of mine, old teammate. And I was like, this is the weirdest thing ever. I'm like, wait, okay, now I've got to, but it went well, and she was super receptive. So that's kind of like been the biggest adjustment, is like, I'm going to be working more with my peers. The girls at OU were a lot younger than I was. So we didn't cross paths on the court, but now I'm playing against people I competed against, or coaching against people I competed against and played with. So it's a new dynamic. Um,
Yeah. So when you kind of talk about that dynamic, when you obviously accomplished player in your own right now going into that coaching, how do you feel like that? I mean, we see a ton of players, and I think more players now going for the WNBA, and as the league, just the longevity of it grows, you're seeing former players going into staffing, going into coaching. How do you feel like having that experience as a player best sets you up as a coach now that you're working with these players one on one?
Yeah, and a lot of respect to Coach Trammell, because one of the big things when she offered me the job was just, Courtney, we're gonna want to hear your experience from a player's perspective. And she's been true to that. Just kind of, what do you think? You've been in this situation before. What do you think? So um just that perspective of what it's like as a player, like what you're gonna need, what you're thinking. I think as a coach, sometimes you can have all these ideas and you know what you want to do, and so to get that kind of like, okay, how's that going to translate to the player and how are they going to be able to implement that? So I think that's been probably the biggest thing.
So now, as you're entering into this season, what is going to be, if you were to try and pinpoint a goal when it comes just from your individual growth as a coach? What would be like that goal that you're looking to gain from this experience with the Wings this season as you grow into that coaching role more and more?
Yeah, well, I love to win, so I hope we win as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got a great staff around me. Coach Trammell, obviously, Brandy Poole, April Shillings, Zach, our development guy, Zach Budnick. He's been awesome. Everybody's awesome. So I just got people around for me where I'm learning every day. And I
Mm-hmm.
told Coach Trammell when I took this job, it's like I want to be a sponge and like learn as much as possible. And it's awesome sitting in that room and just talking about basketball philosophy and defense and offense and different ways of seeing the game. Like it's been like an onboarding experience the last few weeks when we've been sitting down as a staff and figuring out what we're gonna do. So that's the biggest thing for me. I always want to learn as much as possible. Then also, like I said, add value and add where I can, and especially with that experience of being a former athlete and being in the WNBA and knowing kind of what that process looks like or what those days feel like. So it's been great.
So is head coach Courtney Paris? Is that the goal?
I don't, I mean, hopefully if I stay in basketball, obviously you want to keep getting better, growing, and yeah, that would be awesome to keep, in anything I do, I always want to keep going up the ladder and moving up. So maybe one day we'll see.
If you obviously you haven't got the full WNBA coaching experience yet, but if you were to be a head coach, and I'm putting you on the spot a little bit,
Oh
and you had to
gosh.
choose between the WNBA and a college role, is there a part that leans you one way or the other, or is basketball basketball?
Oh gosh. I think basketball's basketball, but I'll tell you, there's a big difference between the two. I mean, I think the college workload, you're recruiting all the time. It's now the transfer portals become such a
Mm-hmm.
big deal. I think there's a lot of work that goes into that just in a year-round perspective as far as your bandwidth and workload. Um, but then you also get these kids at an age where they're most influential. You get to
Mm-hmm.
impact a lot more. It's less of a business for the players. Like, I know it's all the NIL stuff, but at the heart of it, they're 18 to 21-year-old
Right.
kids, and you can impact them positively. And I've there's so much value in that to me. So it's just two totally different kind of roles. I think for players, when you're in the WNBA, and this is coming mostly from a player's perspective, it's a business.
Mm-hmm.
It's your livelihood. It's like how you take care of yourself. So it's a different feel. It's a different expectation. There's different movements, things that happen just with it being a business.
Right. So you kind of mentioned NIL and everything. I kind of want to talk to you about just the grander landscape of women's basketball as well within this, because now, I mean, it's unheard of growth that we're seeing just across the game in general. So just how are you feeling? Like just seeing how much the game is growing as a whole. We're seeing all the viewership records broken with the draft and the Final Four and
Yeah.
everything. So from your perspective, how does it feel seeing that growth?
Oh, it was awesome. I was at the Final Four and here in Dallas, and it was, man, people are excited about women's basketball, and that is awesome. The environment in that gym, the environment around town, just how much the sport's growing. It's exciting. I think, as a kid growing up and wanting to be a basketball player, like I can imagine going to those games, 2 weeks ago and the Final Four and being like, and I really want to do this. This is
Hmm.
awesome.
Hmm.
So I think it's such a big deal, and I love it. I love the growth and the respect for what we do. People starting to see that in the viewership, and I think the game's just going to continue to grow and grow and grow.
You mentioned NIL earlier, and I kind of wanted to ask you about that because obviously you played in an area where NIL was not a thing at all. How do you feel like if you were playing in the NIL era during your time at Oklahoma, how would that have changed your college career? Do you feel like?
Mm, I don't know. Like I think you just imagine it, and I know there's so much that goes into it. I couldn't tell you just because I didn't. I wish it's like
Right.
insane. I
Right.
just wish they get the, what is it called, the cost of living checks or
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
whatever those are, the free food, and I'm just but it's good. I think for college athletes, I think um it's a good opportunity, and I think it's good they get to kind of grow their brands young. The world's different now. Like sets you up for the future, gives you opportunities. So I think you got to do it the right way and manage
Mm-hmm.
everything the right way. And hopefully these young athletes have people around them supporting them and giving them good guidance. But it's good for them, and I'm happy for any opportunity they get. And I don't like to think about it. People ask all the time, "What if you could have done I?" I don't. I was like, I don't want to think about it. You know, it's just a part of. I was talking to Ashley, my sister, the other
Mm-hmm.
day, and she's like, "I guess that's what is it? Um, Trailblazers, like the
Oh,
beginning.
yep.
You gotta
Yep.
Things keep growing. If you ask those NBA guys from back in the day what the contracts the newer players are getting, they'd be like, "What in the world?" Like if you think, Larry Bird and Michael Jordan, what they were making compared
Right.
to what some of the players are making now, it's just um you want the opportunities to grow. Same thing for college. Like I'm glad those opportunities are there for those players now.
Right. And you mentioned Trailblazers. I would definitely consider you one of those Trailblazers, no doubt. And now that we're seeing this growth within NIL, within women's basketball, it doesn't have to be college per se, but is there a place of growth that you are kind of looking for where it's like, okay, maybe this is the next step that's needed for women's basketball to kind of take that next step? We saw it with NIL and how that is kind of helping grow the game. What is there feel like is there something that kind of sticks out to you as what might be that next, area of improvement to be made?
Yeah, I just think the continue to support. Like, I remember playing at Oklahoma, and I was so grateful for those stands being filled every night. Like, I think we were top three in attendance behind UConn and Tennessee. And that was, I can't even, I try to explain to people that atmosphere of playing and those kind of atmospheres. And it was amazing. And so for me, if just thinking about OU, like, man, get back in there and pack that gym out. Like it makes a difference. Like that support, that home court advantage. Yeah, that's a big thing I want to see. I want to see those gyms, those arenas packed out again. I want to see the LNC packed out
Mm-hmm.
again.
Listen, you see the OU stuff back here. I'm right there with you on that. But I also you mentioned your time there at OU, and I think one of the probably biggest debates between college and WNBA right now is this extra COVID year that's going on and everything. And it played a huge part in this draft and for the next one or two drafts, going forward. For you, if you had the opportunity to take an extra year at OU, do you feel like that's something that you would have done back at that time, or was 4 years was that wraps good enough for you and you were ready to enter the W?
No, I think for me it was so important. Like, for me at that time, it was so important to win a championship,
Mm-hmm.
a national championship, which we didn't do. So I think for sure I'd want to come back and try to get that done. That was super important to me. And like, I hate that didn't happen. I'm so grateful for everything I got out of college, everything I learned, my experience. But that's a piece of it that was missing. And so yeah, I think the opportunity to come back and to compete for a championship again would be amazing.
So we talk about the draft there. This draft class, obviously the Weeks had a ton of picks. Just in general, break down some of these players for me. How are you feeling about the players that you're going to get to work with over the course of this season? How do you feel like the draft went?
I thought it went really well for us. Like obviously we were drafting for need. We need shooters. We got awesome athletes. We got Enrique, who's phenomenal. We got Natasha Howard, who's one of my favorite players in the WNBA. Was one of my former teammates, who's champion. WMA All-Star.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of great other pieces on our team already, but we need to get better, shooting, 3-point shooting. And so our draft, that's what we went for. Maddie Seagrass, she has such a high release, our number 3 overall pick,
Mm-hmm.
and just a great scorer. And just, I got to be a part of her draft interview, and just an amazing person. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so cool, such a just good vibe, and feels like she's going to be fitting great with our team and be a great teammate, and is going to work hard. And I think that combined with the talent she has is going to really impact us a lot. Stephanie Suarez, we got her in the trade at the 4th pick. She's a great player. She's played against OU this year
Mm-hmm.
with Iowa State. So that injury was unfortunate, but we're
Right.
looking forward to her coming in, rehabbing, being in this atmosphere, getting to know the team. She can't get on the court, but we're looking forward to the future with her. The 3rd pick, Lou Sanchez, she's Lou Lopez. Sorry, she's amazing. Great shooter, UConn. I always say this, and this might be a bad thing, but when I went on my visits, one of our visits, our last visit was
Mm-hmm.
UConn,
Mm-hmm.
and you can feel the environment in their gym during practice. We watched one of their practice, Ashley and I, back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Gino just does a great job of getting people ready to be professionals.
Mm-hmm.
They operate and do their practices at a professional level. So I think that transferring, that translation from college, or that transferring from college to pro is an easier adjustment for those players because they've been through it. Again, our other picks, Abby Myers from Maryland. She's great shooter. She had a great interview as well in the draft. We're excited about her. Ashley Jones, I remember doing some scouting against her back in the day when we were playing them.
Mm-hmm.
She's a great player,
Mm-hmm.
great shooter, great athlete, works hard. Just, she's the kind of person you want to be on your team, or you want around your team. She's gonna always play hard. So yeah, we got
Yeah.
another Paige. She was our 31st pick.
Yeah.
But she won't come in this year. But like I said, we went for need. We need shooters, and we feel like we got a lot of them with a lot of good choices.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously we know that Suarez won't be playing this year, but you made the investment with the trade, going into investing picks into Suarez for a more long-term pick. For you, as as a center yourself, seeing someone, what type of skills, what do you feel like kind of makes her stand out and makes it worth the investment of those picks for a player that won't be ready right away?
Well, she can shoot. I mean, I think I think for her, like, it'll be good that she gets to get in, and she'll be at practices and she'll get to see what it's like. She'll get the culture of the WNBA, seeing what Coach Trammell wants. It's a new staff, so it's good she's here to kind of pick up on all those things. But also she's obviously got the height, the skill, but she can shoot it. She can really spread the floor, especially for the different kind of offenses. I know she's more of that modern big,
Mm-hmm.
the old days of the back to the basket post players are kind of few and far between. So she really fits well into this modern game and can shoot the ball, and so we're excited about her.
So you've mentioned several times kind of picking up that WNBA culture and like that transition from college WNBA. What does that kind of look like? What do you feel like are the differences in that, and what does that transition kind of consist of from going from that college level to the pros?
Oh, the biggest thing is being a grown up. So and this is going to sound silly, but biggest difference: you fly to the game, or to say you fly to the playing city you're going to get. You get off the plane, you get to the hotel, and they're like, all right, see you tomorrow. Like in college, hey, we're meeting at 5:00. We're doing this, we're doing that. You're on your own, and so it's up to you to be professional. You show up to your whatever you have to do. You show up to the bus for the games. You show up to practice. You show up for the planes. The rest is up to you, how you get things done. I mean, obviously we have your coaching staffs get extra work, but everything in between is like you as an adult. You don't really have kind of things set up for you like it is in college. You're off on your own in your game and in your development, and your how you stick in the lead, keeping your value up, whatever that is, finding that skill set. It's up to you. It's up to you to find a way to stay in the lead.
So you mentioned earlier, like I said, you see the OU stuff in the background. So I'd be remiss to ask, you mentioned one of the pack, the LNC again. So as this program, it's going through a big shift. Oklahoma is with all the seniors leaving, so much production, such an incredible class. First off, I want to ask you about that senior class because I don't think we've seen anyone put up anything close to the records that you set at OU until this senior class came in and started breaking records and doing things that, especially as a class as a whole, we hadn't really seen before. So from an alumni's perspective, as someone that obviously wants to see this program grow, what do you see as like kind of their legacy at OU?
Oh, I'm so proud of those girls, Anna, Taylor, and Maddie. They have been. I loved being a part of the coaching staff, coaching them when I was there, and I'm just so proud of what they've done in the last 2 years. I was so happy they won the Big 12 this year. I was so happy. But like you said, just have left a legacy and have continued to grow the program. And obviously, Coach Jenny, she came in and did an awesome job, and everybody, you can tell they love her and have jumped on board and kind of gotten excited about what they're doing. But yeah, those girls, they've impacted the game in different ways. I love Anna's persistence. She loves basketball, a great player, coming back from injuries and just, I don't know, when I see her play, I just think of like, man, like she respects the game, and her talent level too is just exciting. Taylor Robinson, man, I used to love to rebound for her because it's like you just stand there and you just flick it back to her. It's like the smoothest shot ever. It's like, I will rebound for you any day, Taylor. But yeah, I'm just proud of her and sticking with it. I'm glad she did that 5th year and they won the championship this year, and just she loves OU and loves basketball, and you couldn't ask for anything better. And then Maddie, I saw her at the Final Four and I almost teared up. I was like, what in the world? Just so proud of her. Again, I'm just what they've been able to do. She's a super talent. I'm excited. She's going to Seattle, my old stomping ground, so she'll be great. I'm excited for her future. But just another one of those players. The three of them, they love basketball. They love what they're doing. They don't just show up to show up. They show up and are passionate about the work they put in and care about the sport and care about what they're doing. And yeah, they've definitely left a lasting legacy for OU women's basketball.
You mentioned packing the stands earlier. We saw a little bit of that this past season with some of the OU Texas game, the Bedlam game, but you were really the last teams to like consistently pack out the LNC. So from your perspective, when it comes to filling those stands again, bringing that full on sellout energy back into the LNC as a program, what do you feel like are kind of the next steps for OU to try and get back to that peak where you're talking top 3, top 5, top 10 in the nation in attendance?
Well, I think Jenny's already got it going there for them. Just what they've been able to do, like obviously winning success, people, you build it, people will come. And so I think as an OU fan, now it's like they've shown something and they're right there. Now it's can only continue to grow. But like I said, that support, that atmosphere, environment. Imagine you're a kid on a visit and you walk into the gym and it's packed out and it's loud and you're a top recruit in the country. Like you're like, you get goosebumps and you're like, I want to be a part of this. And so it helps at every level, the recruiting, the atmosphere, and in a game situation, it makes a difference. So I hope people, like, I think, this new coaching staff and the players and what, what they were able to do, and still the players are left, Tot, Skylar, I pack it out, make Oklahoma a women's basketball school. Like it is, and we just need that support, filling out the stands and making that happen every game. Like I said, during my time, that was such a big part of it. People would come play us, and some of my friends from other teams were like, what in the world? Like, it's crazy how much support you guys have. And I think the program, like I said, what they're doing now, it's ready for that. They deserve that. And the fans will make a big difference, not only in recruiting, but also just in, home court advantage. It's such a big deal.
Yeah. Well, Courtney, I could sit here and talk basketball with you all day, but I only said I get 20-ish minutes or so I'm gonna stick to it. But before I go, I on a personal level, because you talk about filling the stands, I want to say thank you to you. And I want to give you your flowers because I'm born and raised here in Norman. I was a season ticket holder with my family at those games, the Pack the Pink game, like Pack the Place Pink, all those games. I was there. in the stands, and you, your sister, D-Rob, all of those teams were what made me fall in love with basketball and made me fall in love with women's basketball. And
Oh,
now I'm at OU. I went to OU, went to journalism school to cover women's basketball, and I graduate here in May, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So I just want to give you your flowers. I read the resume at the beginning. I want to give you your flowers as a basketball player, but also as what you gave to Norman, what you gave to the city, to the community. I just want to give you thank you and give you your flowers because you are truly a women's basketball legend. And I know I'm in the media. I'm not supposed to be a fan, but for you, Courtney, I'm always going to be a fan of you and be thankful for your contributions to the game.
hey, no, that means so much to me, and I love that you're in journalism school, so same.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I love that you're passionate about our sport, and like people like you are helping to grow our sport. And so that same, and I feel that same way to you. I'm just so appreciative, and to everybody in Oklahoma. I've got so many opportunities after college from just the support of Oklahoma. Even when I was playing in the Tulsa Shock, and just
Mm-hmm.
that support kind of helped me get my career going in the WNBA. The support I had from Oklahoma. So, I'm from Northern California, which I have to tell people all the time. They're like, "You're from Oklahoma," and I'm like, "I guess now I am, but
You
no,
might
I'm
as
from
well be. You're in
California."
Okie
But
now. You're in Okie now.
exactly, so I'm okay with that. But yeah, it's most certainly felt like home to me. So I'm just super grateful as for Oklahoma and Norman and my experience.
All right. Well, Courtney, thank you for taking the time here today. Thank you for your contributions to the game. And best of luck this season with Dallas. I can't wait to see where this coaching journey takes you this season and further aboard. And I hope one day, fingers crossed, I'm hearing head coach Courtney Paris because I'm going to be there front row.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
All right.
Thanks for
Thank you,
having me
Courtney.
on.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.